Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, hello.
Today's going to be a great episode. We have a special guest in house, which is going to be amazing. If you guys are wondering why we're dressed up like the 90s, it is because we have a fitness specialist here in our house.
We do.
He is a guru of making people look in great shape, and we're pretty much inviting him here to talk about his business in the Valley. So we definitely want you guys to show up, get your fitness on, and something that I need to do. I know that you're running. I know that
We're trying out here.
10K run.
That's the goal. We'll see.
Dear Lord.
We'll see about that.
The only thing I run is for coffee and food.
That's beautiful. It's poetic.
When's the 10K?
Not booked yet. It's just in the future plans. It's a running plan that I have set. I do a 5K on the last Sunday of this month.
Okay,
so.
I ran a marathon in September.
Dude, you're gonna have to tell us a little bit more of that. And our guest, we have Miss, who's
Hi,
this
guys.
guy here in front of us.
Yeah, and then we got Bethany,
Of course.
your host, and then we got Jordan in the house. Jordan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm originally from Colorado.
Okay.
Moved here back in, I think, 2016. I went to ASU.
Nice.
I was first gonna focus more on fashion.
Ooh.
So I have a degree in fashion design.
That's awesome.
That's sick.
But I graduated in 2020, so the COVID year.
Oh.
So everyone is firing. So I had to figure out what to do. So I sent myself back home,
Yeah.
which was in Florida at the time.
Okay.
Was doing as many jobs as I could just to make myself busy. I was isolated, couldn't really figure out anything to do, so I worked out for like 3-4 hours a day. Got in some of the best shape of my life.
Nice.
I had some friends reach out and be like, "You should do personal training."
Yeah.
So that's kind of what started this
That's
route.
pretty sick.
Yeah.
I love it. So your degree's in fashion.
Yes.
My
Yeah.
degree's in fashion.
No way.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's very cool.
That's so funny.
You can't really make much out of it, but
No. I mean, you have to have
We were
the
just talking about
right.
that.
You have to have the right path in order to go that route.
could agree
Exactly.
more.
And I didn't find that, so
Yeah.
I started my own thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. Okay, so tell us a little bit about fitness. Like, what motivates you the most? Like,
I mean, I got my first trainer when I was 12.
Whoa.
Because I
I'm
played.
sorry, what?
Yeah, I grew up playing sports, so I played
Oh, okay.
soccer competitively. I played baseball
Nice.
competitively. I was on the golf team, basketball team. I did kickboxing.
Dang.
Any sport I probably have tried.
You were doing it all.
I did it all. But that's kind of what started me in being interested in fitness.
Yeah.
Was I've always been doing something active, like either walking, hiking, running, anything involving sports I was probably doing.
Yeah.
But that's probably what really started it. And then I think when COVID happened, it kind of was like a realization that, oh, this is the right path for me.
Exactly.
I need to start doing this. People that started reaching out and being like, I want you to train me, all this type of stuff, and it kind of just kept going, and I just kept it
Yeah.
rolling.
That's very cool.
Would you say that you were posting on social media your fitness journey during COVID time, and that's why people were like reaching out to you? Or
Yes and no. Like, I was going through a really bad breakup, so I was just like really depressed, and
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of friends to hang out with, so I was just by myself with my family, kind of just figuring everything out. And fitness is what kind of brought me back. Like, I would meditate a lot,
Nice.
kind of like figure out my whole like mental health and kind of get past that, and then force myself to move back, live with my friend. I lived on his couch for like 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Before I started, like, I got into like graphic design as I was doing that, and then I was just over that job. I had a shitty boss.
Oof.
Yeah.
That'll
And
make or break
once
it.
that happens, you're like, I need to figure something out. So
Yeah.
I was at Mountainside, walked up to the fitness manager, and I was like, can I get a job? Are you guys hiring? He's like, yeah. Within a
Nice.
week, I got a job there.
That's amazing.
awesome.
And then eventually, after a year, I was like, I think I'm ready to start my own thing. And then that's when I started JL Fitness. And so I've been running that for about, I think this is going on to 3 years.
That's
Coming
awesome.
4.
That's pretty cool
Yeah.
to start that way. What is the name of your business? Like,
JL Fitness.
Jail Fitness.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, so obviously you did a little bit of graphic design. So I'm assuming you created your own logo with your name and everything.
Yeah, it's
very cool.
this logo right here.
Oh,
I love that.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
It's a tiger.
that's so cool.
I was born in the year of the tiger, so I kind of just put it all together. And then I have a
connection.
sleeve that's a tiger.
That's
So
very
it
cool.
all kind of meshes together.
That's awesome. So you did, so like you're pretty much like a jack of all trades in a way, you know?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, so you got like the fashion, you got like the graphics that you do, all the design stuff for your own business and the logos and everything else.
Yeah, I also do drawing and everything too.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's
digital
beautiful.
Art, which
Yeah.
I also figured out during COVID. I was doing that in the middle of the day, and then delivering pizzas at night.
Wow.
So
That was a good time for you to kind of just like dabble a little bit of what you want to do, what you didn't want to do.
I think it was make or break for some people.
Yeah.
Like I know some people that had a really, really bad time,
Yeah.
and then I knew some people that did very, very well for themselves.
Yeah.
True.
I think it's all about mindset when it comes down to it, because you can either choose to, like you said, you were going through a bad breakup, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can either choose to be like in the dumps and like everything is like woe me,
Yeah.
or you can choose to be like, listen, like shit sucks at this moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm stuck in the situation. I need to figure out things. And on top of it being in COVID and you're like stuck indoors, and in a way, Florida was a little bit different, obviously, like Arizona.
Florida, Arizona was kind of the same.
Yeah, exactly.
They really didn't have
So
COVID.
you're like, oh, kind
That
of
was in
inside,
Fort
kind of-
Myers, so it was
Yeah.
all like older people. So
Oh, wow,
it wasn't
yeah.
a demographic that I could hang out with.
It was more
Very
locked
true.
down and
Yeah.
scared, I would say.
Yeah,
from-
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
But like you had the mindset that you're just like, I need to do what I need to do. I need to start making money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the one thing that makes people successful. No matter what you're going to like take on as a challenge, sometimes you fail, sometimes you succeed in things. But I think that's what makes you so great at what you're doing, because you have that like, I'm going to win mindset.
Yeah.
Like I think that's such a great thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to like, obviously like, in our podcast, we talk a lot about like health, mental issues. We talk about working out and anything that like gets you to be the best version of yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we definitely wanted to bring you in because we know how successful you are when it comes to the training people and developing people and like changing, because technically you're changing their mindset, right? Not only their body but their mindset.
It's changing their lifestyle.
Exactly.
Is how I describe it.
I love that. Tell me a little bit more, like, was there a time that you were just like, it was such a challenge for you to get to where you wanted to be when it comes to training people and developing people? Like, how does that?
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
when I was training myself, I knew what I was doing for myself.
Yeah.
But everyone's different.
Yeah.
Everyone's body's a little bit different. So that was kind of my hardest part, was like learning how to train people. So at Mountainside, that's kind of what I've developed, was an ability to understand different people and how to work with them. And like it was honestly pretty chaotic, because you have to figure out what you're doing
Yeah.
in a short time. So it was like 30 minutes or an hour. There wasn't 45 minutes. So if I had a client, gym was crowded at like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
only certain machines that you can use, and then it's either you don't do it or someone else is using that machine, so you have to figure it out. So everything I had to do was on the fly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped me kind of figure out how to like transition to creating my own business and understanding this is how I should set up programs, this is how I should create things, and I kind of just went based off that. And that honestly kind of started the good foundation to
Yeah.
potentially starting my own business, and then starting it and then just continuing it.
That's awesome. So for someone who's looking to jump into the industry that you're in, what are some things you would recommend just off the get-go from what you've learned from building your business? Some tad bits of like info you wish someone bestowed on you prior.
I would find a mentor.
Okay.
So I was lucky enough to be at one of the top mountainsides. So we won, the year I was there, we won personal training gym of the year.
Oh wow.
That's awesome.
And one of the trainers there, his name's Tim Hunter. Probably one of the best trainers I've ever been around. He's in his like 60s.
Oh wow. That's-
Probably some of the best shape I've ever seen in a 60-year-old.
He sounds
He
elite.
works out every single day, multiple
Yeah.
hours a day. Every Sunday he's doing tire flips in the back
my-
of the building at
Jeez.
5 a.m. And he also works at the church. So
Wow.
just seeing how dedicated he is to
Yeah.
his clients and the extra work that he does outside of it, I think having someone like that is definitely a key like proponent on growing your business, but also understanding the fitness industry, because it's kind of confusing, because you look on Instagram, you see all these people, they're fit, but they don't know how to train people.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue, is all these people are uneducated and they don't know how to work with people. They know how to work with themselves, but everyone's a little bit different. So just figuring out that is, I would probably say, is the biggest. And then I would just say, check out different gyms. So like I have a client right now, she just got her certification. I'm trying to figure out who she wants to train. What kind of demographic do you want to train?
That's a good point.
Mine's kind of like business professionals. I train some athletes, but that's kind of like the demographic I've like been focusing on. So once you figure out that, I think it's a lot easier. That way you're not just throwing out stuff and just trying to
Yeah.
figure out, oh, this might work, that might work. If you focus on it for like a year or two, that's where you're going to figure it out.
Yeah, you have to almost find your niche and then
Yeah,
realize, okay, I'm going to
exactly.
hone in this craft. This is what I'm known for. This is my brand, and then you'll attract those type of clients that you want in that regard.
100%.
That makes
and
sense.
usually they come to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Oh,
when I
wow.
was at Mountainside, I feel like I'm pretty good at talking to women, so I would get a lot of mom clients.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they felt comfortable around me, so that's kind of the demographic that I had there.
Yeah.
And then it slowly turned into like business professionals, like older adults, people that were just looking to just improve themselves and try to be a better person, rather than just trying to get fit during the summer.
Yeah.
That really isn't gonna work,
Yeah.
Exactly.
because it's a whole lifestyle change.
Do you think, because you are an athlete, so you have like, there's a difference between athletes. I played soccer, so like you have a different mindset than people who are not athletes, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to like working out or whatever it is. Don't judge me now, okay? But
Oh, I ain't judging.
we are going to talk about like you being an athlete. Is it easier for you to train other people who are athletes because of the similarities on how your mind functions versus people who are just like, you know, like you said, like moms or like people who are business people? Like what do you think it's like the difference or similarities that you have there?
I would say the biggest difference is coordination.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good
So
one.
like athletes, they have to be coordinated in order to do their sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moms, regular people, they're not in that atmosphere anymore. So
Yeah.
they've just been doing whatever they've been doing, raising their kids, going to work.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different. So the way I train them kind of just depends on their goals. Like I have a new client, he wants to get his vertical back up.
Okay.
But he used to be an athlete. So that's gonna be very easy, as if someone who, I also have another client who wants to get better at basketball, and he's an engineer.
Oh, nice.
Right.
So like I see two different styles and two different ways
Yeah.
to train these people. So I have
Yeah.
to go a little bit slower with one person and a little bit faster with another person. Like I can't give them the basics
Yeah.
when they already know the basics.
Yeah.
So kind of just understanding the different levels kind of makes it a little bit easier. But I would say that's probably the biggest thing is coordination, but also understanding how to work out. Like there's certain things that athletes already know that other people just don't understand.
So it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say training an athlete is 10 times easier than training just a regular
That makes
person.
That's fair. And to
Yeah.
that point, just for like our listeners, how would you approach teaching someone who wants to advance on their vertical compared to someone who's trying to gain just better movement when it comes to basketball? Like how would you kind of structure the workout difference between the two?
So depending on the person, I usually take them through like a basic workout just to see their, like if they're weak on like ankle stability or ankle mobility, like they can't move it far enough because that's a big component on jumping.
Yeah.
I look at that and then just kind of see how they act throughout the whole workout. If I can tell their endurance isn't really there, that's something I would focus on.
Okay.
And kind of just get them at a certain level and then slowly move up every single time.
So you'll gauge it and then you'll learn from there, okay, this is
Yeah.
what we need to build on.
And then we go program to program. So I'll go like 4 weeks, 8 weeks, and then 12 weeks,
Makes sense.
depending on the person.
Okay.
That's really cool. I like that. Obviously, social media has been such a big thing lately, right? Everybody is on TikTok, Instagram. I do this, I do that. You can do this, you can do that. Kind of like they're teaching just about everybody about their fitness, right? How are you and social media connected? Are you posting a lot of those things? And do you find it that some of the videos that you see, are they more like that doesn't really work about, you know, or whatever, or you're just like, yeah, that totally works for a client?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you see all these crazy workouts that people do.
Yeah.
I don't think regular people need to be doing those.
Yeah.
Those people are just showing off. They're just trying to get like clickbait,
Okay.
essentially is what I see that as.
Yeah.
But the way I use it is more of like just showcasing my portfolio is what I see it as. It's just basically a big resume to show what I can do.
Yeah.
But I try to keep it as motivational as possible.
Nice.
Try to educate as much as I can. It's not usually about me. I try to showcase more of my clients and like what I do with them, which I think a lot of people like look at differently. It's usually about them. Oh, look how fit I am. You should buy my program to look like me. It's not really how it works.
Yeah.
Say you want to look like so and so, you have to cut out so many things, or you're just not gonna. You're just having too high expectations, and then that's when you get like into that burnout phase, or
Yeah.
I don't want to do it anymore phase.
That's very true. I know that Bethany wants to look like J-Lo. We talked about
Oh
this.
yeah, all the time. Dump truck 2000, the whole. No.
She's fit, yeah. She knows what she's done.
She is, her trainer's doing her right, which
Yeah.
he would do the same. So, but that's awesome. I like how you take that individual approach with each client because I think that is crucial because you do have athletes, non-athletes, mothers,
Yeah.
post-pregnancy, all that jazz that does go into consideration. Have you ever actually helped a mother that was just post-pregnancy? Because workouts do vary, right?
So I'm on ClassPass, so I've had a couple like people that were just pregnant or just had a kid come in, and I've had good feedback. But you kind of train them a little bit differently, like understanding obviously they went through all that, so there's certain things they can't do. So I ask a lot of questions. I usually ask, how'd that feel? Where'd you feel it? Do you think you can do more? Those are like the questions, because I always ask it after every set, just to make sure they're comfortable. Because I feel like women coming into the gym, I hear it all the time. They're like, it's so intimidating. Like I don't know what I'm doing, and especially in a male-driven like industry, it's kind of hard to get women to feel comfortable in it. So I try my best to make them as comfortable as possible. And with the gym I'm at, it's self-made. It's a little bit easier because it's not a commercial gym, so you're not seeing a bunch of random people show up.
Nice.
So it's all personal trainers, it's private training. Everyone's there with a trainer trying to get better. So it makes it more comfortable for women to come in. But I would say it's just a different outlook on how to train them.
That makes sense. Because I know after like post-pregnancy, there's things you need to avoid. So I'm glad you're kind of just like taking it step by step with them to see.
And I do that with everyone too. It's not just people that have pregnancy or someone that just got an injury or something like that I just saw them after PT. Like I had a client, he broke like his ankle. Took him a couple months to come see me. So every time we did something for like legs or anything related to his foot, I'd have to ask him every single time, like, hey, how'd that feel? They probably get annoyed with it, but at the same time, I'm really just trying to keep a good eye on them and kind of understand how to go from one exercise to the next.
And make sure that they're safe through the whole process.
Because I'm big off like injury prevention and all that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
Because you don't want to get injured in the gym because then you're out. But the biggest thing I see is like you're with a trainer and you get injured, you don't want to get another trainer because you're upset or you're kind of scared of getting back into that situation. So I try to keep it as simple and focused as possible rather than just like a social interaction. Just come in, come work out, and just have the rest of your day.
That makes sense. What's your perspective on mobility? Do you think that's a really important thing? Do you try to incorporate that more over just lifting really heavy? What are your thoughts, and how do you train your clients?
I'm pretty big on mobility. I would say, so we do a warm-up every single time. Warm-up's like 5-10 minutes, depending on what we're doing. If someone does have like any like pain or anything like that, I try to focus on that at the end. Be like, hey, let's kind of figure this out, but because I have a lot of group training, so a lot of the group workouts. A lot of people come in and they're like, this is kind of hurting, can I not do this? And I'm like, I'll give you a different variation. But I think mobility is probably one of the key things that you need to be doing. Rather than just like lifting a shit ton of weight. Like you don't need to be doing that. I think most people need to be doing mobility in order to move better, because obviously as a society we've gotten to more sedentary where we're just sitting down all day. So understanding how your body works is going to make it a little bit easier, and then being able to move a little bit better.
That makes sense.
The more mobile you are, honestly the more like you can lift, essentially.
Exactly. I know myself, I've just been wanting to get more into mobility and like mobility stretches before lifting, because you do see like a lot of these bodybuilders and they're just so tight. Like they can barely move their shoulders. They show a lot of muscle.
That's all it is.
And then you see them also do like yoga. Like some of them are actually super flexible, but that's just because they like took the time to do more mobile stuff rather than just like lifting heavy.
So I usually stretch before I work out. I do at least a 10-15 minute warm up depending on what I'm doing that day. Like if I'm going to lift heavy, I'm going to have a more in-depth warm up rather than just hopping in and hurting myself.
Smart. I usually just hop in, and that's not a good thing at all. I definitely am like, I need to chill on that.
Well, a lot of people are going like when they're super busy. So like they're only out like 30 minutes. You technically don't have time to warm up.
Because it's 10 minutes of warming up, but that takes away from the time you have to lift. But you're preventing injury, which is worth more than just hopping in and getting hurt. Fair point.
Jordan, obviously, like, here's the thing. A lot of us are super busy with all the day-to-day lives, right? Businesses, mortgages, family, everything that we do, family, whatever it is. How do you keep your clients to be, committed to you and actually showing up versus being like coming up with excuses of like not showing up? How do you keep them accountable?
I mean, that's a tough question because I can't hold their hand when they go home and tell them what to do. So I try to make it more like a community aspect. So usually my clients, they come with a friend.
Yeah.
or they know someone.
Oh, nice.
So they kind of text each other being like, hey, I'm going this day, can you come this day?
Yeah.
So kind of just keep it at that, because
Okay.
I don't want to be texting them, hey, I didn't see you this week.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
will text them if I haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah.
Just to check in, because I know life gets chaotic, and
Yeah.
I mean, I can work out every day because that's my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everyone can or designate the time. So I try to get them to switch habits. So it's more habit changing rather than
Yeah.
like lifestyle changing, I guess. So I tell them to pick a habit every month, take that away, and then hopefully kind of get them to keep going. So
Yeah.
once after like the first 2 weeks, everyone's 10 times more motivated than they were on the first day.
That's awesome.
The first 2 weeks suck. I'm not gonna lie. First
That's
2
fair.
weeks are probably the worst because you're
Yeah.
super sore, you're tired, you don't have any motivation, which I think motivation is kind of pointless. You need to have more discipline rather
Yeah.
than motivation.
Yeah.
Motivation is great for
I like that.
say when I ran my marathon, I needed some motivation as I was going.
Yeah.
Because that's not really discipline, that's more mental.
Exactly.
So if you have the discipline to keep going, and then you'll see the results regardless. That's what I tell everyone. You show up every single day. You eat your right food, the food that I've been telling you to eat. It's gonna work.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Or there's something wrong with like your hormones, or there's other factors that go into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, end of the day, they're just competing against themselves.
For
It's
sure.
you versus you. So, I mean, if they really wanted it, they'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just there to guide them, which is awesome. How was training for your marathon? When did you accomplish that? That's awesome.
I did it in September.
Nice.
I went back to Boulder. So I'm originally from Boulder.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go back on. I'm 26, so running 26 miles, going back home.
That's
I thought it was
awesome.
kind of like, I don't know, a cool moment.
Yeah.
But I didn't really like fully train for it. I was just like,
snap.
I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I was training for it, it's 110 degrees outside.
Oh.
I'd have to run a couple miles, and I'd be gassed just based off the temperature.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it was more just mental. It wasn't really like physical. Like I did a lot of calf raises, a lot of like other mobility stuff, like for my knees and my hips. Like my hips were really bad, so
Yeah.
I focused on that for a while.
Okay.
That mentor Tim I was telling you about, he helped me out a lot. Tried
That's
to figure
very
that
cool.
out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like if I have an issue, I'll ask someone that I
Yeah.
know is more knowledgeable than me, like scientifically. Like I know what I'm doing, but there's some things that I just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much for you to know that.
Yeah, there's so many things to know
Yeah.
in this that obviously I'm not going to be able to know it at 26. So just understanding that and kind of accepting it. I mean, I think everyone should try it. You'll really figure yourself out within a few hours
Yeah.
to see if you can actually finish.
That's
Would,
crazy.
would you do it again?
Eventually, I'd probably train for more for it.
Yeah. You're
And
gonna
I'd probably
wait out
pick
the
somewhere
line.
with less elevation.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because within the first like 10, 12 miles, it was a straight incline.
Oof.
At elevation, my quads started giving out.
Yeah.
So I would call Sid halfway through. I was like, hey, I need help. Like,
Help me,
I need
please.
you to come bring me some food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I stopped for a few minutes and then forced myself to finish.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. So you could actually like take little breaks as needed. People can come and help you throughout the trail.
Yeah, so every mile there's water and like gels, or that's the stuff that everyone drinks, is these gels. They're
That's
terrible.
awesome.
I hate them. They're not
Yeah.
good.
But do they help though? Like they don't
Yeah,
taste good,
so
but you'll notice.
It's more for like sodium and like your glycogen levels, because you're basically depleted.
Yeah.
So you need to keep it going in order to keep moving. But my legs already cramped up, so it didn't really help me. So I
Yeah.
was just taking it just to take it. But I just got to a point where I just needed to finish.
Do you have any suggestions moving forward, like at least for your body, because you noticed that you cramped early on in the race, what you could do to kind of alleviate that, so when you do run next time, you're kind of a
I
little
would
bit.
probably do a practice run.
Okay.
So you kind of want to work your way up. So the first couple weeks, I would start slow.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would probably do mile, 3 mile,
Okay.
and then try to bump it up, and then have one big run every week, like 8 to 10. And then if you want to go more than that, just go based off how your body's feeling.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to run too much to a point where you can't move the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
you want to continue the progress.
Exactly.
But I would probably try that, and then I would try different types of like gels or whatever, different types of food to see how my body reacts to it. but that's probably the next step I would try to do.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah,
If
hopefully
you
it
guys
helps.
if you guys decide to do it, I'll be on the sidelines giving you water, cheering
Yeah,
you
I'll
on.
call you, girl, for the little glycogen packets.
That's all that's happening. I will throw you guys a bone, food, whatever you
You
need.
could do a half mile,
I'm there.
half marathon.
Yeah.
Please, we're good. I only ran when I played soccer, and now I'm like, we'll do like a
Light
half
walk.
an hour on the treadmill,
Yeah.
little light walk, Yeah,
I mean, I think everyone needs to just walk.
yeah,
Yeah.
To be honest, walking's the best thing you can do for your body.
yeah.
10,000 steps. That's all you really need.
I've
See,
heard,
that's pretty good.
I don't know if this is true or not, maybe you can provide some insight on it. People say that walking after a meal is actually really good for your digestion.
Yep.
Like, of course, take a little break, eat 15
Yeah.
minutes after, then walk.
I think it also depends on how much food you're eating.
Oh, true.
Like I try to eat. I watched this documentary about these specific like civilizations that live to 100
Yeah.
plus years.
Interesting.
And the Chinese, or might have been Japanese, they only eat till they're like 80% full.
Yeah,
So that's what I've been doing recently, and I feel 10 times better.
yeah.
But I think it's all portion control.
Yeah.
Like eating a certain amount of food at
We
a
as
certain time.
Americans don't have that. We
No.
we overeat, we overconsume in all aspects.
Well, you just got to think of the food that they're giving us. Like,
True.
say you go to
That's very
IHOP
true.
and Denny's,
Ugh.
for example, which a lot of people go to. Like, I used to go to IHOP a lot. They give you a bunch of food on one plate, and you're like
Yeah.
expected to finish this. Like,
Exactly.
I felt like everyone growing up, it was like your parents always told you, you need to finish your plate, you need to eat all this, you need to eat it all.
Yeah.
But you don't really need to.
No.
Just need to
Yeah.
get the right amount of nutrients in, and you're good to go.
I mean, I grew up Albanian, so like for us, it was always like you always leave the table when you're not super full. So that was the case. And obviously, my parents had to chase me around eating food anyway, so I never really finished my plate to begin
Yeah.
with. But
I mean, yeah,
that's near or there,
Yeah.
It's a little different. I will say though, portions in Europe are completely different than portions in America.
Oh, I would agree.
So I think
I feel like they're
that's
way smaller.
But also
right?
the food's a little bit different. Like we went to Greece
100%
last year,
different.
and
Yeah.
the food was 10 times better. But
course.
afterwards, we didn't feel super full.
Yeah.
Like I could eat a full meal there,
Yeah.
and then compared to here, I'd have to take a nap.
Yeah. The organic food that's here, even though it's considered organic, because we have so many sprays through everything that it's going on here, it's technically, even the organic food is not organic.
Yeah.
In
crazy.
Europe, we don't use a ton of pesticides and everything else
Yeah.
on our food at all. So our ground is technically like really organic.
Yeah.
To have like an organic ground, it has to be 7 years with no chemicals whatsoever. Well, you don't get that here because every time like you have airplanes
And then
spraying
they
things
plant on
around.
top of it, and it just
Exactly.
keeps on going.
And to whenever you do like the ground for like the organic stuff, one year you grow carrots, whatever it may be. The next year you got to switch it around, grow something else. Because if you keep the same thing and the same thing and the same thing, it just doesn't work that way. So there's like a lot of things that like the Europeans do that in
Yeah.
America they don't. But again, it's all about money, right?
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately.
That's how the
speaking of
world
that,
moves.
I know you mentioned like hormones have a lot of play when it comes to your body, right? If your hormones are not right and if you're not eating the right food, it's obviously harder to work out. And sometimes like you can feel where you're unmotivated and things like that. How do you deal with clients that you have that are going through hormonal changes or even just health issues?
I tell them to get blood work.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
I had issues with my testosterone probably about a year ago.
Yeah.
It was like low 200s.
Yeah.
wow.
And then I went to a doctor and they were telling me this is what you should be doing, this is what you should be taking. So they put me
Yeah.
on a medication and I got it back up to like 900.
Yeah.
But I think understanding how your body works and what goes in it and what should go in it, I think is the best option for you.
I love that.
But understanding what's going to work. So I tell my clients, if this isn't really working for you, like the food that you're eating, I would try to get like a nutrition test. So
Okay.
basically, like it's like an allergy test, but it tells you on which foods are going to work for your body.
Yeah.
So understanding what foods are going to work for you is going to make it so much easier to go into the store, or even if you're going to a friend's house, you can't eat certain things.
Makes
you know what I mean?
sense.
So it's kind of just like understanding what works for your body, rather than this worked for so and so, I'm going to try that. It might not work for you.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So like
Everybody's
people trying these different diets, like keto. I think Mediterranean diet's great.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
I think it's a great diet.
Just kidding.
But just those like fad diets that people try
Yeah.
and they overuse it to a point where they get into a point where they're gaining weight
Yeah.
Yeah.
or they're not losing weight.
Yeah.
So they're doing it too much. So they need to understand maybe that's not the right diet for you.
Yeah. I went through my journey, and I've talked about it in the podcast, and we're doing more digging into it. But like, I went through my journey with, my hormones, everything that's going on. So like, I have always been like a super fit person because I played soccer. I was always fit. I was always working out. And then for the past like 3 years, it's where it was like a random like weight gain. So it's been very like challenging to kind of drop that, especially with my medication and everything else. Like, and sometimes like, even though I want to go into the gym and just full on like workout and like lose weight, I think it's like so hard to like, when you're so exhausted and tired after everything else, it's hard to get yourself there, right?
Yep.
What would you say it's like whenever you have clients, like kind of like myself, right? What would be like the best way to help them transition from like being so exhausted to like actually going to the gym? And then how would you structure their, their program if they want to lose like 10 to 20 pounds? Is there like a certain amount of time that works for them?
I would tell them to go slow. So first thing I would do is ask them what they're eating, how's their sleep, how's their water intake. Those are basics.
Yeah.
And then blood work, understanding what, so maybe you're deficient in a vitamin or something like that. That could also have an effect. But I would start with the basics and probably just walking, and then eventually going into like light strength training, so kind of body weight stuff, and then eventually starting to add weight, and then kind of just seeing how the body kind of transitions to that. If something's not working, for me it's all trial and error. So if it doesn't work, then try something different.
Yeah.
But you got to try it for at least a couple weeks
I
in
love
order
that.
for it to see a change or feel a change. Because it should be all based off feel. It shouldn't be off looks or the number you see on the scale.
Yeah.
That's not really going to help you. It's also going to mess with your mind a little bit more.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I want to look like this. I want a specific number on a scale. That's not really how it works. Because then you're just going to get upset with yourself that you don't get to that goal.
Yeah.
So you need to make it attainable rather than just like having these high expectations.
Yeah.
Which makes it a little bit easier because then you start building that confidence.
Yeah.
And then you want to continue to go. Like I had clients that they hated the gym. Now they love the gym. They're excited to see me. They're excited to come to the gym. They're excited to work out, sweat, get all that stuff out. It's more of like a therapy session is what I see it as.
Exactly. I think a lot of people always expect quick fixes when it's a
Very true.
long-term fix. It's a long-term transition of, okay, I'm going to build this endurance. I'm going to eat right, all this. It's not a 2 weeks from now, you're going to lose 20 pounds. It's 20 months from now. It's 12 months from now. And a lot of people forget about that. So.
Yeah, I tell them like 3 months, you're going to feel a little different. 6 months, you're going to see the changes physically in the mirror. And then 1 year, you're going to look like a different person.
Yeah. Speaking of quick fixes, what's your thoughts on Ozempics?
I think it's good for the short term, not long term.
Okay.
But I also think you need to do research.
Yeah.
Good point.
Because I don't think a lot of people understand what the drug does or what it is. It's basically just suppressing your hunger. So once you stop, you're going to get it back.
Yeah.
So understanding these are the habits that I had, you need to break those habits before you stop. Because if you don't break those habits, you're going to gain all that weight back.
That makes
and
sense.
you're going to feel like shit.
Yeah. You're
So
gonna be like,
understanding what the drug is going to do,
Yeah.
and then understanding, oh, this is what I've been doing. I've been putting myself in this hole. I need to figure out what to switch, what to put in. I think that's probably like the best option. But I don't hate it, but I also don't know enough about it to have a strong opinion for it.
Gotcha.
that makes sense.
And that is just, like a lot of people just want to drop the pounds super fast and they just go through these things. And again, like you said, if you don't have the habit on it.
Like I have a couple clients on it, and they love it. They've lost
Yeah.
weight. I have one client, she lost like 20 pounds on it already.
That's pretty great.
Nice.
But she's training with me 4 times a week and changing her diet.
That's a different story.
Focusing
So-
on her mental health,
Yeah.
recovery, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like she's just taking it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
makes
I think
perfect
it's a
sense.
good like jump start. So like, say you haven't been working out for a while, so you want to just start to lose weight, but it's not working for you. I would say that's something to try.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But definitely talk to a doctor first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's medical advice prior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Medical advice prior.
Because
So you
I'm not a
mentioned-
doctor.
Yeah, we got to disclose that to everybody.
Listen, you're doing all of the other things.
Yes.
We thought you were a doctor
Yeah.
as well, too.
There you go.
I wish I was.
Yeah.
Hey, you could be the future. You never
That's a lot of
know.
education.
Yeah.
I didn't like school.
You mentioned about testing, so you found out that you actually were low in testosterone. What type of testing do you recommend to clients that are currently fit or people that are looking to get into the fitness journey and just kind of want to know where's my gauge of where I'm at hormonally? What kind of blood tests did you take, and what's the frequency? Do you it yearly, every 3 years, only when you kind of feel off?
So I did a full panel.
Okay.
So when you have that, you have to tell them specifically what you're looking for, but the
Yeah.
doctor's already going to give that for you.
Oh, okay.
So I went to an endocrinologist, and they told me these are the things that I need to be looking out for. These are the foods I need to be eating more. This is this type of meat I need to be eating. So it's all based off blood work.
Okay.
So understanding where to go and the time frame of when to do it. So
Makes
I do it
sense.
every six to 3 months.
Oh wow, okay, that's more
pretty
frequent
good.
than I would have
Yeah.
thought, but that does make sense.
Yeah. Jordan, what is one thing that's a fitness myth that you'd like to debunk?
That's a good one.
Fitness myth. That's a tough question. That if you work out every day, you're going to lose weight.
Ooh.
I think that's
right.
a good one.
I am very happy that I don't work out every day to lose weight.
It's all
Well,
about
'cause-
balance.
You got to think,
I'm
if
kidding.
you work out every day
Yeah.
and you're not doing the other things,
That's true.
it's not really going to do too much for you. Like
Yeah.
obviously you're going to get maybe a little bit stronger, but if you're not eating your protein, you're not really doing much.
Yeah.
That's probably like one of the main things that I've seen is people are like overdoing it. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to do 2 days. Oh, I need to do 3 days. More is not better,
Yeah.
in my
Okay.
opinion. I honestly think less is more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say start slow. So if you start too fast, you're going to get that burnout phase, and you're not going to want to do it.
And you can get hurt too, which will then
Yeah.
therefore discourage you even more of like, I guess working out isn't for me. But
Yeah.
it's like, no, you didn't do it right.
And my newest client I just got, he hurt his back doing like a deadlift.
Oh no.
And that was his first time working out in months.
Yeah.
And that already just sets you back. You're like, oh, I can't do this. So that's when
Exactly.
he reached out to me. And just having that guidance makes it a little bit more comfortable and more like safe in a sense where you're not worried about getting hurt. You have someone watching you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I would say that's probably the best way to go about it.
That's very cool. I like that.
Yeah, I
Not
love
an
your
everyday thing.
No, seriously, and I love the approach in that because you are right. People just think like, okay, I'm gonna work out, and if I work out every day, I'm gonna lose a lot of weight. But in reality, there's more to it. It's working out, it's diet, it's everything. Like what's the saying? Abs are made in the kitchen. Not only do you need to actually do the physical work, do all the lifts, all that jazz, but also too, it's what you're eating.
Yeah.
That's gonna ultimately.
It's finding the
factor.
right combination.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So like everyone's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like for me, I like to work out every day
Yeah.
because it's just for me and my mental health. Like
Yeah.
I just feel good after I do it. Some people aren't like that. I would say majority of people aren't.
Yeah.
Because I looked up the statistic the other day. It was like 24% of people work out consistently in the world.
The other.
Actually, I think it was 24% in the U.S., 8% in the world.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
the other 76%, guys.
There you go. Yeah.
We're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, being consistent and doing things, and obviously you have a lot of things that you're juggling, which you're doing amazing at, the things that you're doing. How do you find the time to juggle your multiple businesses that you have, and, obviously have your family with Sid? Like, how do you juggle all of that?
So when I was at Mountside, I created an idea of how I wanted to schedule my work life.
Yeah.
So in the morning I train 5 to 10,
Okay.
and then I go home. I usually eat breakfast, and then I'll dedicate some time to do like admin work, and then I'll do drawing or any commission pieces that I have,
Nice.
and then I'll work out, and then I'll train clients from like 3 to 7,
I love
and
that.
then come
That's a good
home,
schedule.
cook dinner, kind of relax, and then start it over the next day.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you work on the weekends, or is it just Monday through Friday kind of deal?
Yeah, so I actually work today.
Okay.
I help coach youth soccer on the weekends.
Oh, nice.
That's very cool.
And then I usually have a morning class on Saturday, and then kind of usually work out on Sundays with
Yeah.
Sid, and sometimes I film stuff and do content. But
Nice.
I work like 7 days a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I don't really have an off
being
day.
self-employed.
Yeah.
There, you're always
And it
working.
doesn't really feel like work because I actually enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
We were talking on our other episode as far as like work-life balance, and do you choose to do the work that you love, or do you choose to do a career that pays you a lot, but it's not something that you truly, truly love? And it seems like you have the balance for both. Like you make good money on it because you run your business successfully with both of your businesses, but also on top of it, you have like that flow in your life that just fits well.
Yeah, like if I don't want to work one day, I don't.
Yeah.
I technically don't have to.
Yeah.
But
that's perfect.
For me, I like working. I like seeing my clients.
Yeah.
I like drawing. Like, it's just like things that I've been doing my whole life. I just kind of made it into my job.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's the goal. That's what everybody
Yeah.
wants, and you're doing it, which is what matters, you
Yeah.
know? Would you say in the line of work that you're in with your business model, it's hard to, if you needed to take time off for, let's say, vacation, emergency, or do you have
Yeah.
that pretty structured well so you can make
I would say
that
it's
change?
communication. If you're
Yeah.
communicating with your clients and not being like, hey, I'm gone next week. Like, I'm
Yeah.
going on a trip to Europe. Like,
Gotta go.
that's probably not the best option,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
also understanding how certain people came in. Like, if they're starting fresh and I leave, it kind of just sets them back even
Yeah.
further.
Yeah.
So kind of understanding that, but I'm also very open with what I do. So say I'm gone 1 week and I'll let them know ahead of time. I'm usually
Yeah.
letting them know at least a month in advance,
Yeah, that's perfect.
or
That's how
even
you should-
further.
Yeah, that's pretty great. How would because obviously you're in our valley, it's easier for us to go there, and we have tons of, fans out there that are in the valley, and they are trying to find their right trainer or working out, things like that. What would you say it's the one thing that they should look out for a trainer?
How full they are and how they hold themselves on Instagram.
Gotcha. That's
So-
pretty good.
If you're just talking about yourself and all this type of stuff and you're not really helping your clients out,
Yeah.
I think that's a big red flag, because there's a lot of like bad trainers that look good. And then there's a lot of trainers that don't have a lot of followers that I think are some of the best trainers.
Wow.
Like, there's some trainers that I know, they don't even have an Instagram or a big following. It's all word of mouth.
Yeah.
So kind of just understanding, oh, they might look like a good trainer, but I'm not really sure. So I would look around.
Yeah. Do
I
your
would-
research prior to.
Yeah, exactly. I would try to look around as much as I can.
Nice.
That makes
Perfect.
sense.
And then where's your location at?
100th and Frankwood, right? So North Scottsdale.
Perfect.
And if someone was interested in getting your type of services just
Yeah.
online, how can someone get signed up?
Yeah, they can DM me, or I have a website, jordanlesterfit.com.
Nice.
Amazing.
Fill out a form and then I will respond.
Yeah.
Do you-
And also, Jordan's Instagram is pretty awesome. I wanted to shout you out for that because obviously we're friends on Instagram, and you sent me like almost every single day. You sent like some type of a workout or like something
Yeah.
that like helps their clients out, which I thought it was so amazing and so spot on because it's not like somebody's spamming you in a way. I like actually enjoy and read it and like take a look at
Oh,
it. So
thank you. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
I think that's pretty cool.
Because I want to be as transparent as possible. I'm
Yeah.
not lying. This isn't like, there's
Yeah.
this one guy I follow, his name's Goob. He
Yeah.
calls these shit influencers out. So basically these people that just like Photoshop their
Yeah.
pictures, I'm trying to be as open as possible.
Yeah.
I tell people what I do, I show people what I do, and then
Yeah.
I try to give as much information as I can,
I love it.
which is what it should
Transparency
be.
is key.
Because honestly, if I had a choice, I wouldn't want to have an Instagram or any social media presence, but
Yeah.
in this world we live in, we kind of have to.
We kinda
Unfortunately,
do.
Yes. It makes
Absolutely.
sense.
Well, Jordan, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes,
like,
thank you.
this was amazing. Hopefully, we can get you in again. You can talk to us a little bit more about your art and your business. I think that's amazing that you do that. But right now, we really appreciate you coming in and talking to us about fitness and health, and kind of educating everybody, our listeners, and also. I learned a lot as well too from this.
Yeah, you're
So-
welcome.
Sharing your journey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got to make your dreams a reality because not a lot of people can, and you're being successful. So kudos
Yeah.
to you for
Thank
keep
you. I
doing
appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us on another episode. I hope you have a wonderful time. And if you guys have any questions, anything that you need from Jordan, we're going to link it in our bio. Have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.